I'm gonna pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in the draft.
The truth.
Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. It is Wednesday, November 12th, and we still have no government open. As a matter of fact, I warned everybody that they would likely try to put some type of riders into the vote, meaning they're adding things to the bill. And guess what we have? They're adding things to the bill. It's actually a thing. So yeah, they're trying to add some stuff to the bill, and it has to do with hemp. They want to get rid of all mind-altering or affecting hemp. Meaning you can still make clothing out of it. You can still do that, but nationwide, doing no more Delta 8, no more any of that stuff. That has been pretty much allowed up for Delta 8. Man, I'm telling you, there's sometimes I say some key things, OC, and then it like just freezes on us. I don't know. It's weird. It's pretty weird. I don't know. But yeah, it looks like we're back to good. We're back to good. We're good here. So there we go. We got some people in here. OC, I'm gonna go do the class in session, and then we'll come back to you. So you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. Class in session. Yo, okay, we're good. Chart Prime, everything ran there. OC guy right there with me. Coming from Cozumel Island, way out yonder. He's got some glitchy camera, but he's got some good TA for us today. So OC, how you doing today, man? How's it going out there in Cozumel Island? How's your holiday going?
Oh, it's doing fantastic. I mean, it's a little bit cloudy. Actually, we came out and a big storm impacted us. Let me just adjust my volume here a little bit. There it is. And but it's pretty chilly out here. I mean, not as chilly as in the States or northern states, but to be the Caribbean, this is pretty chilly, to be honest. And other than that, it's looking fabulous. I mean, I'm enjoying myself. We're working a lot in here. But, you know, like that little feeling that you're back at home, right? And then walking around the streets of your home city, there's nothing like that, right? For everything else, there's Visa and MasterCard.
Coinbase Visa. Let's go over here and take a look at the chat. We got a lot of, we don't have a lot. We got about 16 people in here. I don't care though. I'll do this show at Lunar Beaches, Crypto, Harp, Alexandra G, and Mike Play, JR, Al Jr. all day long. It's okay. Not all day long. Do not hold me to that, but I'll do a morning show for you. JB in the house, Hulk Smash. I appreciate you being here. Harper's in here. Alexandra G, our mod queen, Crypto Coin Mindset. We're going to be redirecting over to Crypto Coin Mindset this morning, Keith and T.I. Joe over there. JR, Harp, appreciate you guys being here. K Diggity, shout out to Mike Play, Lunar Beaches Crypto, Average Crypto Joe is in here with us. We got Brave Dave. Who else? Did I miss anybody? I think I just named off everyone because everyone that's Donato Cabrera, I don't think I got his name earlier. There you go. And Trade Intuition. He said he was almost first, but he smashed the like button. Appreciate everyone joining us here. Gilbert Thornton. He said, good morning, OC and Piper and Bob Franklin joining us here too. Appreciate you guys being here. Shout out to the Rip Chat. Shout out to the alumni. OC, we got a couple of things we're gonna go over on Bitcoin today. But how are we looking right now on the chart? Because I think we just got a little pullback going, even though the Dow Jones just hit a new record high. Dow Jones just hit a new all-time high, but Bitcoin, not so much. How's that looking? Let's go jump to that chart and then we'll come back, knock out the news and get this all rolling. What do you got for us?
Absolutely. So let's go take a look at here where we left out yesterday. Let me zoom in. This is the daily. All right. So we're going to be keeping track on the daily and throughout a couple of other time zones. And we have a bounce to the upside. We keep moving to the upside despite we are making a kind of like a retracement on yesterday's candle. Nonetheless, we still within this flag. Let me actually move this. I'm going to be adjusting this because remember, I was expecting this to go over the trend line, and let me unlock this. It's moving all over this place. All right, and then let's hold it. There we go, as steady as possible, and we'll then reject out of it. So far, I think we're holding strongly. Let me just get rid of this so we can see through the spaghetti. Too early in the morning for that spaghetti. Here it is. And we did have that rejection out of not exactly the same area that I was looking at, but at the trend line that we've been tracing for a long time, right? So what is up next at this point? I believe that we have a little bit more downside, all right? You have heard me say that 98, 94 is still within the game, right? Even somewhere around here, I do expect us to go in here. I do want us to go all the way in here and right at this area have a V-shaped recovery. But the market is not going to move because I wanted to. But so far, look at your oscillator. It doesn't have strength, right? Look at your money flow on the daily. It doesn't have strength. So far, I would say, hey, let's do expect a little bit more of a downside, at least 101 areas for the rest of this week. Let me jump into the 4 hours really quickly before I pass it over to you. And the 4 hours, things are looking, I would say, better, right? That is because we still have this trend line in here pushing hard, right? Holding whatever you throw at it. Even if you throw, do you had a triangle? Love that one at the beginning. Oh man. Oh sorry, not triangle. Do you have a flag? That one there. So far
Do
it's
you have a
holding steady
flag?
here. Let's go. And something interesting that's happening, depending on how you draw this trend line, and I think this is gonna be a little bit not confusing, but like you're gonna be seeing a lot of these kind of like movements. Look at this, or in Twitter, I would say, breakout retest, then that one's continuation, or are we grabbing this low, right? And having this one as is, having this fake out, regardless what you having here. Remember that you're looking at your oscillator in here. You already have a peak seeker, your volume metrics still all right. So as long as we don't lose, here you go, the 103, I think we are still safe, right? And safe as we can be. I mean, at this moment we're still bearish and we need to hold 103 once again, right? This area right here. If not, well, once again, 98, 94 are going to be the next target. I do expect us to go lower again. But in the meantime, maybe we can do that double top and then rolling over. But we will need to keep a track again on the 103 zone. Passing it over to you, my friend.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just sitting here tweaking up some news here. Let's go ahead and jump in on the news. We got Wix Wi-Fi 89 joining us in here. DD is in here. Digital Day, appreciate you being here, bro. He liked my comment last night about the government shutdown thing, and yeah, we had a little back and forth. DD, it's okay. It's okay. As I said last night, people can keep following all those other people that just tell them what makes them feel good and not give them real information. Because I will tell you, Sunday night, they were screaming the government reopen is here. And I'm like, pump the brakes. Government is not reopened yet. We're at phase 1 of like 4 before we get a government reopen. Now it's Wednesday. We're not even going to get the vote until tonight. Probably going to get approved, but still a chance it's not. So it could be coming, tomorrow. Like I said, Wednesday at the earliest, Friday at the latest. So if they vote tonight, probably looking at tomorrow before we start to see the government do anything, because obviously no one's doing anything at 7 o'clock at night in Washington D.C. except for voting and then going to bed. So that's about it there. Let's go jump over to the news, OC. And let's break all this down for them and get some data out here. Let's get some alpha out to the people. All right, taking a look here, guys. This tweet, that's the one. That's the one, Alexandra G. We got $3.495 trillion right now on the crypto market cap, according to the Into the Cryptoverse metrics. Trend line sitting on this at 4.649 trillion, meaning we're currently undervalued almost 25% right now. On the risk bands, we're sitting at 47.4% risk band, guys. We can go all the way down into the ones, just so you know. We're at fours. We can go all the way to the ones. Nothing here to see bad or good until we get out of this 4 band or until we head into the 3 bands, which is this light blue color here. So as of right now, still holding strong, in my opinion. With stable coins, Bitcoin dominance right now is sitting at 59.5. Take away the stable coins, we're at 65. Bitcoin dominance continuing to go up, and we are moving on up here, just to the east side. How about the alt season? Still no alt season, guys. Sitting at 40 out of 75 on the index right now. Neither Bitcoin season nor altcoin season. I do think we're going to hit Bitcoin season before we see any other upside move for alt season, right? So alt season, we have to be all the way up here in the red, and we're heading down to the green. So probably going to see Bitcoin season here soon. How about liquidations? Liquidations. Right now, guys, within the past 24 hours, 130,088 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $411 million at $0.07 million. Largest single liquidation order happened on Hyperliquid. OC tried it again on FETH and lost $20.2 million on a single trade. OC, we gotta talk about your trades, man. Also, 24 hours longs versus shorts, guys. Way more people short right now than long, just so you know. 51.74% are short, 48.26% are long in the past 24 hours. So a lot more shorts than longs. How are we looking here on Fear and Greed Index? We're sitting at 24. We are in fear right now as of the print of this an hour ago. Price currently is 104,200. This was at 104,800. So staying in fear for quite a while here. We're going to talk about this in a bit. This is the final wave for Bitcoin. Don't forget to take profits. This is a parabola, and we're going to pass this over to OC in a minute. And we're going to talk about the previous cycle parabola versus the current cycle parabola and find out, what does this look like? If are we breaking this and now this is it? We're heading down. Are we going to get that thumbnail that just kept going down there at the beginning? We're going to break that all down for you. So you guys stay tuned for that. And then Army Piper, this guy said on X, people came at me left and right about saying on Sunday night that the government isn't reopened until it's reopened. Now the House has added a rider to the bill, and we have to wonder, does this derail the funding vote? Proposed hemp ban tucked into the federal funding bill could stall an end to the government reopen, is what this headline says here. We'll talk more about that in a bit, but this is not a good deal for them to have thrown in there. Why couldn't they have just voted on reopening the government and then had this as a separate thing? Why do they got to keep putting riders on top of everything? Because the government sucks. That's why. Breaking news. Searches for second jobs are reaching new all-time highs. 34% chance of a recession by 2026, according to Kalshi. Yeah, second jobs. That's the big hot thing that people are looking at right now. And we already talked about McRib yesterday, so let's go ahead and move on. Stock market today, how are we looking? Dow Jones, like I said, all-time high getting hit. It is up 0.85 today, doing a little bit of a pullback after hitting that new all-time high. S&P is up about 0.1%. NASDAQ, our tech sector, talked yesterday about the AI warning. They said, hey, this AI sector, you might want to be looking at taking profits on some of this tech. Palantir and NVIDIA both have big shorts on them from the big short guy. Can't recall his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Michael Burry, that's it. He's got billions of dollars in shorts put in against NVIDIA and Palantir right now. NASDAQ down 0.3% today. Russell 2K is up about 0.6, and the VIX is in volatility zone, 17 points there. How's bonds looking? It's down about 4.075 after being up in the 4.1s yesterday. It is down slightly, about 0.03 there. How's about oil? Oil is under $60 a barrel. Look at all the energy sector, all red today, meaning demand is kind of slowing down right now despite all of the data centers. And then gold is up over $4,100. It's at $4,146.50. Silver at 52 and continuing to rally back up. Copper is up 1.46 today. Platinum is up about 1%. Palladium up about 0.5%. All the precious metals doing quite well. So the shutdown put jobs and inflation data on hold. You guys know this because I've been going through withdrawals. I've been like needing, hey, can I get some of that data? The shutdown put jobs and inflation data on hold. Here's when it could be back and what it might say. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Economic data releases that have lagged during the government shutdown likely will take some time to get rolling again once Congress is back in business, assuming that the government reopens before the end of the week. Goldman figures the Bureau of Labor Statistics will put out an updated schedule of release in the early part of next week. So probably won't get it for a hot minute. When the data freeze ends, the reports are likely to show more of the same: a slowing labor market, inflation still holding above the Fed's target, and growth positive, but not gangbusters. So that's, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but I want to find down here, where's that? The BLS is in charge of the payrolls report, as well as the CPI and the producer price index, both of which were scheduled to be released this week. Other reports from the Bureau include import and export prices, the employment cost index, and the job openings and labor turnover. I think that next week, guys, we're going to have a crazy week of data dropping because I'm pretty sure we are going to see that inflation's holding, that labor market is getting weak. We saw some reports that came out from the private sector that they were negative in jobs for the week. So yeah, it's not looking too hot there. I'm thinking that we're going to see probably higher unemployment and higher inflation. Lawmakers just released a much-awaited crypto market structure bill. Here's what it means for digital assets and what comes next. Key points: Senate Agriculture Committee released Monday a draft of its part of a digital asset market structure bill that could guide the future of the crypto industry in the U.S. Their draft included a provision that would give favorable regulatory status to tokens such as Bitcoin and Ether. The text also calls for the CFTC to have more control over regulating the crypto industry, meaning that it may become more of a commodity for some of them and less of a security. Clear guidelines on regulating decentralized finance are largely absent, though, from the lawmakers' draft, which means it's still going to be the Wild West out there in those decentralized exchanges, which I do believe is where we get a lot of the sell-off that happens because of coin swaps and lack of liquidity on the DEXs. This is the most consequential roadmap for how an institution is going to integrate digital assets into their business. It's like the best possible step-by-step of what type of compliance rules, requirements they would need to follow and work with crypto. So key takeaways: it grants favorable regulatory status to some cryptocurrencies, requires crypto firms to segregate funds and manage conflicts of interest. It gives the CFTC more power to regulate digital assets, and then allows the CFTC to collect fees and establishes a listing standard for tokens. So this is all moving right now. Probably won't see it for a while, but at least it was presented, and now we're gonna, at least have some clarity on everything. Looking at the daily here on Crypto Bubbles daily, that's hourly. Daily, we do have some green on here. On the hourly, though, we have had some sell-off. Bitcoin down about 0.2% on the daily still. Most of that coming in the past hour when it had a 1% pullback. Ethereum down about 0.2%. XRP is down 1.7, BNB down 1.3, and Solana down 2.1. Big movers today. Let's go see here. Bitcoin Cash is up 2.5%. Is it Bitcoin Cash's turn from Zcash to Bitcoin Cash OC? I don't know. I have to see. What else we got here? Litecoin moved up 2 spots to number 17. It's down about 0.7%. Zcash down 7.8% more today, 4.1% that in the past hour. I should have held my short on Zcash, man. Really should have. Other big movers: Monero still doing pretty decent. Canton Network, don't even know what the hell that is. It's up 11.8% today. And yeah, that's about it for big movers on here. I mean, Aster's up 5.6%, but not writing home the mom. Oh, Story. IP Story up 14.5, way down there at number 61. Pretty flat overall from where we were yesterday, to be fair, on a lot of stuff. Mortgage rates. Look at that. We cut rates. I tell you, mortgages are going to go up. Yeah, we went from 6.31 to 6.34. Mortgages are moving back to the upside. You're not going to get a house cheap anytime soon, on at least with the mortgage rate, unless you do a 50-year, and then that's going to save you $100 on a $400,000 house. So there you go. That's how you can get it. Can't make the stuff up, man. This is the world we live in. Yeah, here's all this data, core inflation, CPI, initial data claims, all this stuff that's been missing. And it doesn't look good on what the projections are on here. CPI up, all this stuff. I'm thinking that when this data comes out, guys, volatility next week, big time, if this is when all this data comes out. Are we going to get a rate cut in December? That's a good question. 65% chance that we get a 25 basis point cut right now. Of course, next week's data could change all of that. And this 34.6% chance of no rate cut could go up higher. So what is going on? Piper and Candle Mafia, the contrary trader. Welcome, bro. Appreciate you being here. What price will Bitcoin be in November, OC? That's the question that Polymarket asked here. Guys, look, greater than 1%, or less than 1%, I should say over $200,000. Okay. 1% says it'll be 150,000, 1%. These are all 1%ers. What do we get to big numbers at? $95,000 or below is 32% of the vote. 27% of the vote is above 115. So there's your two biggest chunks. We're either going to be below $95,000 or above $115,000. Neither one of those scream new all-time high at all. Matter of fact, if you look here, 4% chance that we have a something higher than our previous high, which is $130,000. That's actually down 1%. People are losing the hope. And then here's the thing on the reopen, and I'm actually going to bring OC up here with me. Where you at, OC? I don't even have you turned on here. Let's bring you up here. Let's bring OC up. There we go. And then click that, and then click that. And then now we have OC up here with me, because I can bring you up here with me on this one. I'm actually going to lessen your... You're not going to be in widescreen, sir. You're going to a small circle. A small circle of OC.
Let's go. That actually looks fabulous. I like it.
There you go. Pop up OC there. So this is the deal to reopen the government, slowed by Paul's objection on hemp language. Okay? There we go. Let's get it right there. Senate Republican and Democrat leaders say they need to resolve an objection from Senator Rand Paul, Republican from Kentucky, about a provision in the government funding deal before they can accelerate consideration of the bill to end the 41-day shutdown. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, Republican South Dakota, told reporters Monday there is only one objector to speeding up Senate consideration of the government funding pact, referring to Rand Paul, who wants to strip a provision from the package that would prevent the unregulated sale of intoxicating hemp-based products. Paul said he's just doing his job by standing up for Kentucky's hemp industry. He argued he's fully entitled under the Senate rules to use all the procedural time and at his disposal and to scrutinize the government funding package, which he opposes. Just to be clear, I am not delaying this bill. The timing is already fixed under the Senate procedure, but there is an extraneous language in this package that has nothing to do with reopening the government. He is correct. And it would harm Kentucky's hemp farmers and small businesses. He is also correct. Paul said in the statement on X, standing up for Kentucky jobs is part of my job. Paul wants to strip out language from the bill funding the Department of Agriculture that would ban the unregulated sale of intoxicated hemp-based or hemp-derived products such as Delta 8 from being sold online or at gas stations and corner stores. The deal the Senate advanced Sunday includes full year's funding bills for the military construction, VA, Department of Agriculture, and the legislative branch. Spokesperson for Paul said Senator Kentucky wants to reopen the government right away, but he has major problems with the provision in the bill that unfairly targets Kentucky's hemp industry. So what he's talking about here, guys, this is called a rider. And so it's when a bill goes up and they go, okay, we got the bill and everybody approved on it. And then somebody goes, we want to add this into this bill. And if you vote for this bill, you're voting for this bill. Okay. Which I absolutely hate. I don't think that any bills should be packaged together. I think they should all be individual bills. And I think that those bills should all be voted on. It's not if this, then that at all. It should be this. Do you vote for it? Yes or no? Yes. Cool. They package them together because they're a bunch of lazy ass Fs that want to just make it as quickly as possible to move on so that they can go and insider trade and become multimillionaires on their $174,000 a year paycheck. They all suck. So, yeah, I think this is just another play for Republicans, which I am not anti-Republican at all, but I think it's the Republican Bible thumpers of the Bible Belt that want to come out and say drugs are bad and hemp is bad and people shouldn't be doing anything that feels good because prohibition is cool. Did I sound like a Republican Bible Belt politician there? Cool. It doesn't need to be in the bill at all. So I think that this needs to be totally separate. If you guys want to have this conversation, this should not be tied to the funding of the federal government and the reopening of federal employees to get back to work and the SNAP benefits for 42 million people. This is how you get angry people on your party to go against you right here, because at this point I'm calling bullshit on the entire process for that being even being stuck in the bill. Like, hey, this is the most vitally important bill to our country and how we operate. And by the way, we're going to throw some bullshit hemp bill on top of this and put it all together. Stupid. I hate this so much. But yeah, anyway, I digress because we're not here to talk about how dumb politicians are and why Piper needs to go to DC. Mr. Smith goes to Washington 2.0, 2026 edition. But let's go talk about Bitcoin, OC, because we talked about the parabola. We talked about that parabola chart. Let's go take a look at that on your chart. Are we in trouble? Are we in trouble? That's what I want to know. Let's go see.
Spoiler alert, no. Just kidding. We are still in the same break or make area, right? So really quickly, before we go and take a look at the parabola, let's rewind and take a look at what we have been talking about for a long time, right? This is a rising channel, all right? So this is a channel. Remember, we talked about if we break the channel, right, like this with strength, and we came to this area, the worst case scenario will be ranging. That's when we are in trouble, right? Not truly breaking it because we can come back at it, right? But breaking it will be, hey, heads up, because the next one is not about the breakout, it's about the retest and continuation, right? But if we have this thing here on the breakout, I think we are mostly doomed. And then what happens, that's why I move it to here. If that happens, I'm going to be taking whatever I put at 100K to a different service that I'm using to accumulate my Bitcoin. We are not involved with them. They just win my trust because of the last cycle. They did great, right? That doesn't mean that it's going to do it great on this cycle. Just saying. All right, so having seen this already, let's go check out the actual chart of the parabola, right? So let me go over here. Where is it? Here it is. All right. And the first thing that we see is that we have a pretty neat parabola. So we have 1 touch, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and right here we're losing it, right? So is this the breakout and retest? And look at that. Not only we're losing it, we already have a confirmed rejection out of it, right? So are we doomed? Are we right now? I mean, should we be just selling everything out and running out? I don't quite think so, right? I mean, that's why I left this trend line in here, because we can still do whatever we do on the market, maybe a fake out, right? Come back in, if we start closing back inside the parabola, like it had happened before, well, then the bigger chances are that we hit the top of the pattern, and that pattern, because it's also a megaphone, will be 127 for the best case scenario. All right, so what if we actually range down here like this? Well, then in that case, we will also be breaking the channel. And guess what? That's when things start looking to hurry. And that's what I've been calling out. You know what, guys? We are in trouble. But so far, let me compare it to the previous parabolic movement that we had. Here it is. And there's a little trick in here when you see these parabolas. I mean, that parabola, that was a pretty nice parabola being drawn. There is a parabola here, but it also affects on how you draw that parabola, and most important, where the liquidity on that parabola is at. So I think those are the key factors when you look at a parabolic movement. All right. Because something important, when the parabolic movements, quote unquote, goes parabolic, which means go vertical on you, well, then the next thing will be breaking that parabolic movement. Like, for example, what happened here. And here's a perfect example. We have two parabolic movements. Both are correct, right? They start at the same point. They have basically exactly the same support areas. Until we depegging here, we're going parabolic in here, or we're going almost vertical. That means losing it, right? So it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, and then off we go for the blue parabola. And for the orange parabola, we had the breakout, retest, right, or range, and then that's when we start getting into trouble. Something important to note in here is that we had a secondary pump in here, right? So this can still happen. I don't think that we're going to be seeing this anymore. I believe that we either look at or do this and dump, or make a little fake out and then pump back up. But so far, those are, or this is how it had reacted before. Very key factor here. This is where you bring up your MVP oscillator on daily or MVP oscillator on weekly. And then you
Weekly.
start seeing, hey, it's
Do the weekly.
Perfect. Let's
Do the weekly.
The weekly then. Let's get it. All right, so let's check out the weekly here. We need to go over here, and this is where you start looking at, hey, in which part of the oscillator are we, right? At this point, breaking the parabola, having the crossover going lower, well, then that's a danger, Will Robinson, right? And then we have, of course, the recuperation, the lower high, the higher high. So this is a huge bearish divergence, and then we dump. So where are we at this point? We were at the top, but not as high as before, right? We hadn't had the reversal. We're not overtaking the reversal zones. Yes, well, I think we're having something like it. So I will be calling out not really this movement
But
so far, unless
if you cross over, OC, if you cross over on the weekly and you put your horizontal line on the MVP oscillator on the weekly, you'll see that we actually flipped from the blue to the purple on the oscillator about the same time. Same range.
Let's see.
Grab that bad boy and move it up. No, move it up to the to where it actually turned from blue to purple. There you go.
Let's go. So we are rejecting on the same area, but we have a double movement. I mean, we could have this could be the double top, right? But much higher. Let me bring another one that I have also prepared in here. This is another quote unquote correct parabolic movement, and of course, if I can find it. Where is it? Come on, you gotta be kidding me. Curve, here it is. Let me turn it on. And if I turn it on, you'll see the pivot points, they fit a little bit better here. This one, this one, this one, and that projects to this point. And to prove that to you, if you know how to draw parabolas here, you'll see that this is not being quote unquote tricked, because the actual pivot point, it's right here. Something important about this pivot point, let me unlock this. Like, you can force the thing to be almost perfect, right? But let's just but as you start messing with it, there you go. I think this is the most closest shape, including this lower point, which will get us still haven't crossed over that parabolic movement. But yeah, I mean, long story short, if we break through and we range, that's when I would say, you know what, brace yourself. And look at that also on the weekly, we're starting to have our very first green candle. It's not go time just now. We need to have a brighter candle there. So passing it over to you, Piper. What do you think? Have we broken it?
So I think we've broken it, but I don't think we're in big danger yet. Because really the 52 week, whatever you want to call it, it's actually doing pretty good. Let's jump over to my chart. We'll take a look here. I've got my phase lines on here. Let me try to go to a little bit. Yeah, we'll leave it on here. I'll just turn all this stuff off. Let me turn everything off here. All right, market tops, turn that off. Market bottoms, turn that off. And then let's turn off all the objective lines. Let's turn off the bull market support band. Let's turn off the power of chart prime. And all we have on here right now, don't worry about this down here. I'm just not turning everything off. There's our 52-week simple moving average. Shout out to LBC. 50 week is what everyone's always used, but I like the 52 week. I actually think it's way more accurate. It's a little bit less noisy. 52 is better because there's 52 weeks in a year. That's why it's better. It just works on the math, right? So check it out here. As of right now, we haven't done what we saw last cycle at this point. So being below the parabola right now, yes, sure. But look at the 52-week SMA back here in 2021, and we held it for quite a few weeks. I still think that we have a chance to bounce off of this and not break beneath it like last cycle, because as of right now, we're still holding this 52-week. Now, the one problem that I will bring up here is if we go in here, let's put this one on. Let's make this, no, let's actually do the 200. There we go, 200. And I want to show this on the daily. Well, look at this. We're beneath the daily 200, which has not always been bottom indication, but it is bearish in the traditional sense of, hey, what does it mean when we have when we're above or below the 200? That is the difference between being bearish and a bearish structure or a bullish structure across stocks, has been for decades, right? And as of right now, I mean, back here you can see we came back up and rejected on it back in March 2022, right, off of our beautiful, hopium rally that wrecked everybody. That's my concern, and I'll go over that in a second. Is something like that again. But right now we are sitting beneath that 200-day. At the end of it all, though, if we put this back to the 52-week, there we go. It is our support. So I'm not overly concerned as of right now about that parabola break, because this is still holding. We're not seeing a dump indication printing off here. We're still in a pump, right? On the weekly. So nothing big there. How are we looking on the daily at the prophecy indications? Are we seeing anything there yet? No. No, we've been in a pump since back here in May of this year still. So once this starts to give me a daily, hey, we're dumping, and then we start to see it trigger on the 2-day, we see it trigger on the 3-day, getting ourselves up to the weekly, and this is moving and losing this position, then I think that parabola is going to have a little bit of a play. But as of right now, below the 200, not good. Above the 52-week SMA, still holding pretty decent for us. And at the end of it all, guys, until we see this come in and play out, right, where we get below it, and then everyone is like, that's it. We got bottom indication. We're holding above this line here, right? This horizontal here. Maybe it comes down and bounces here on this weekly dynamic reactor, right? And I double bottom, and then everyone hopium's in. And meanwhile, our 52-week is coming down here, right? Let's get that a little bit better. 52-week is coming down here. We come down, we bounce here, and then everyone rallies in on this double bottom that hits this weekly reactor, and then they're all just like running for to buy. And then we get this rejection. Guys, this run here with the rejection on that 52-week SMA would be back here. And I want you guys to know this wrecked a lot of people and made exit liquidity for those that didn't sell here or here. Now they sold here because of your exit liquidity. So that is my big concern, is that the hopium dealers out there in the crypto space start telling everybody it's back on bull market to Valhalla, and it's not. It's nothing more than a lower high. It's a dead cat bounce. It's a relief pump, and it gets everyone absolutely slaughtered on their portfolios because they put everything back in instead of being safe and waiting for bullish continuation. So that's what I got there, OC. I think until we lose our 52-week, which is coming really close right now, I'm watching it as we speak. Until that happens, though, I think that parabola can easily pull back in, and then maybe we readjust the parabola, sir. It might be that second one that you put on the chart there that's giving us a little flex room. That might be the one to watch. But alts, man, let's talk about altcoins, OC, because yesterday Monday you weren't here. Yesterday, you didn't really get a chance to go over altcoins because we talked a lot about stocks. If you didn't catch that show yesterday, some great data in there. And of course, all of it is now in our Discord. But let's go and take a look at what altcoins are looking like, because I know that they've had some pumpage and some dumpage, but pretty much flat if you really look at on the higher time frame. What are we looking like on the altcoin side, bro?
Absolutely. Let's go visit first the 15 minutes Bitcoin, because this is going to define how the altcoins are going to be reacting. All right. So really quickly, we see that the 15 minutes is just BS at this point. I mean, this actually looks like previous cycle, right? I mean, dead cat bounce, and then probably we could be going even lower. Let me bring up a couple of my indicators just to see if we have a big support right below us, which I believe we do. And that big support stands, there it is, at the liquidity here outside the range, right? So we're heading to a base support. We have a trend line in here. We have broken dynamic reactor. We are bearish, right? So don't lose a sight of it. Our money flow is losing very strongly here, very rapidly, right? But we're getting closer to that flip of the ribbon. So if you're trying to, I don't know, quote unquote, scalp Bitcoin, I will be looking for these. Oh man, wait, I lost battery on my thing. Here it is. All right, got it. Right here, it's gonna be my next area to look for if we bounce, right? So having said that, I'm gonna add an alert in here, right? And then push it another one all the way here to 101. Remember what we mentioned today. I believe that for this week, we're gonna be hitting the 101, all right, area. So over that, we already know that we're going bearish. We're gonna be looking for that flip of the ribbon, hitting those areas of support. And that's when we're going to be going to altcoins and look for a bullish bounce out of that same area, right? Let's go to the 4 hours really quickly. And let's see those how those two alerts are positioning themselves. Look at that. Loud order block, losing the loud order block, and the very first alert at the end of the support lines. And the next one is also pairs with a golden predictive range, right? Let me add one more, and this one we already have it. Look at the area that we're looking that we're adding this alert. 99 to 100, very close to that 100K, right? I'm going to even push it to be in the middle of those 2 weeks. And guess where is it at? 99, 674. I mean, very extremely close to that 100K area. All right. So first of all, what does this mean? This means that first we could be bouncing out of this zone. So let's go check out the rest of the altcoins. We're not going to be trading altcoins until we see the bounce of that zone. And for the rest of the altcoins, if we lose this zone, we're going to be going bearish on them. So let's get started with F Ethereum, hashtag F double F triple F Ethereum, but still looking actually pretty good, to be honest. So we are rejecting once again on that loud order blocking here. We have another high order block in an area of support. So let's add that alert at this area of support, and the other one right here at the center, crossing over this trend line. Let me get rid of all of this spaghetti. Maybe just leave that one as is. And I think I'm going to keep this one here. All right, there we go. So far, what is it? Not looking that bad. First, because this one, it is breakout retest continuation. As we spoke before, this could change a little bit depending on how you draw this trend line, like this. All right. And well, then at this point, we're going to be looking for the next support here, maybe for a proper continuation lower, right? So looking for that little bounce, continuation downwards, first target, 379 to look back into F Ethereum. So very nice, very nice. I mean, just like you called out last time, Piper, we having a rising wedge, and that rising wedge is actually right now breaking through. Let's go to LTC. I've been looking for LTC to try to jump in. Last time it actually run without
it's magic. It's wizardry,
Yes.
sorcery.
Sorcery. Let's go. And this one is actually surprisingly good. Look at that. We had a beautiful breakthrough here. We have a bullish flag. We push. Well, bullish flag. I mean, bullish trap. But still, we push. We have a perfect reversal here, coming back down. And now we're bouncing. This is a danger, Robinson. Despite this looks like a textbook here. We don't quite, or we're not quite at the bottom. What I like to see flip of the ribbon, although we are on support. If Bitcoin falls, this is gonna fall. All right, but so far, I would say that this right here might be a good area to start looking for a long. That doesn't mean, hey, blindly open your long. It means, hey, look for that flip of the ribbon, and most importantly, look for your money flow to start crossing over the green one. When you have that on the support area, go for that long in there. All right. So I just finally adjusted at 97.11. And let's bring up a couple of other things. We have a predictive range. Here we go. We are rejecting out of this trend line and sorry, that support line. And finally, I'm going to add another alert at 82.36. In case we lost it or we lose it, I'm going to be going for the base support all the way there. BNB, hate it and love it at the same time. Here we go. So that same wedging here, everything's having exactly the same pattern here, right? Breaking through. Once again, we can even go like this. Depending on how you draw your trend lines. If you are like this, you're looking at a possible megaphone still, breakout, retest, further continuation lower. If that happens, well, then we need to be prepared. At this point, the next area of support is going to be at 88 in here. Important. Let me zoom in here because we can still do one more bullish candle and close. This price action, it's being pretty like, I don't know, you tell me here, right? I mean, up, down, holy crap, you just decided direction and go, right? So be careful here. For this, I'm gonna be opening my prime, my RSI prime, and that is telling me that we have the chance to reverse up. As in here tells me that this is a little bit of a vanilla movement. We don't have enough momentum, money flow. So once again, we need to be careful in case we have this rejection here. So far, I believe that the next plan should be this area right there. So going lower, then looking for this area of support. And what am I pointing at an area of supporting here? There we go. We have a support zone and a soft order block. Just so you guys know, I've been already looking into it since yesterday night because I do want to come back at trading it. Fair warning, I did not trade on Monday, Tuesday, but today I'm ready to get back at it. Let's get it. And finally, XRP. XRP is looking actually pretty good because we haven't lost this trend line. We are above the zero line. We are at the zero line in here. Very precise zone. Let me just drop it in here, double click, 0, enter. Here it is. And well, that tells me that I should be looking for longs. But once again, if Bitcoin goes, this one will also go all the way here. So let me add another alert right there. And guys, how am I going to be trading, for example, XRP? I'm going to be waiting for the flip of the ribbon. If that flip of the ribbon happens, I'm going to be jumping in wherever I see it. If I'm on a support, most likely it's going to be here. And then my target, TP1, I know is pretty small, so adjust accordingly. I think that will be a suitable trade to be taking on the 30 minutes or something like this, where you start seeing those tiny candles in here, and again your flip off the ribbon. So that's what it got so far on a couple of the main coins. Let me throw it back to you, Piper, and then if you want me to take a look at a couple of other ones, I want to take a look at Solana, ADA, and Link.
Awesome, and we're going to do that here in just a second, but I got to go over a couple of things because you know me, I like to keep people on an even level, right? don't get your head too far into the clouds. No, not on the edge. So a lot of people talk about this. Two things. They're talking about the quantitative easing coming, and they're talking about the tariff stimmy checks and all of that stuff. And so a couple of things here that I want to point out. Let's go over to here. There we go. One thing that I want to point out here, the shutdown is projected to end today. Well, probably not. They're going to vote on it today. It's probably going to end. It may end tonight at 7 o'clock, but it's not going to really reopen until tomorrow. So probably tomorrow, okay? Short-term winds of liquidity will begin their shift. QT ends December 1st. Then the long-term winds of liquidity will begin, okay? Guys, quantitative tightening ending does not equate to quantitative easing. Okay, not the same thing at all. Matter of fact, look, Forex Flow shows it. The Fed rebuying bonds is not quantitative easing. And we've talked about this on the show about how that money is really repos and it's being held to protect the banks right now because the banks are in bad shape. They're in negative balances of unrealized balances right now. So they're deeply in losses. So that's not quantitative easing. Even the end of quantitative tightening and the Fed rebuying bonds does not equate to quantitative easing. So that does not release liquidity. Okay. These you're wrong, Dan, crypto, capital, whatever your name is, you're wrong. Stick with Hopium crypto and quit giving people unreal data, false, fake news, because that's not what that is. The second thing that I want to talk about is the stimmy checks, because this has been one of the things that I see on X also that everybody is pushing out to everyone. Hey, look, last time we got stimulus checks, right? First of all, we probably will not see a stimulus check at all. Even if they get it all approved and it makes it through Congress and everything else, what you're likely going to end up seeing is a rebate on tax refunds. Okay. So you're not going to actually get the checks that we got the last time anyways, and it still has to make it through Congress. However, what are they talking about here? What are they saying? Over the weekend, Donald Trump suggested paying Americans directly for their healthcare costs and sending tariff rebate checks to families, not unlike the stimulus seen during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, later that day in an interview with ABC News, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that he had not discussed the idea of a tariff rebate with the president and that there were no specific proposals in the works. That suggests that this is not a real or likely policy move, said Brett House, economic professor at Columbia Business School. I don't think consumers should expect to see these rebate checks. I agree. The administration is committed to putting this money to good use for the American people, is what a White House official told CNBC. American families are under pressure. We know that. Millions of Americans are bracing for sharp increase in their health insurance premiums next year. The subsidy cliff is sitting there with the ACA, and all of that's being voted on in December. And although the checks would be a popular policy, direct deposit payments are unlikely to happen without Congress being on board, and I don't think you're going to get Congress to be on board. There's another wrinkle here also. If the political tide changes, that could be a different story. We do not see stimulus checks in the near future, but we could see greater congressional interest as we approach the midterm elections, especially if we see a weakness among consumers. But there's some unintended consequences. You guys know the things that I talk about that are really, really bad right now for investors that could start hitting people really hard in the gut, and inflation, weakening job numbers, so on and so forth. I think that even if we got to a point that we started to see the $2,000 checks come in, most likely that money would go to things like food, bills, debt. I don't think it's going to flow into your moon bag, guys. Just sad story there. Sad truth. Economists have also warned that direct payments could cause inflation to flare up again. Pandemic-era fiscal stimulus contributed to an increase in inflation of about 2.6%. A $2,000 one would be somewhere in the ballpark of about another 1.6 is what I've seen. We still have elevated inflation over 3% based on our last readings. The numbers that make this strange, the idea of sending tariff rebate checks is not new. In late July, Trump said he's thinking about doing a rebate also. Then Senator Josh Hawley then introduced the American Worker Rebate Act, which pitched a rebate check funded with tariff revenue as soon as this year. According to the Treasury Department, the U.S. collected approximately $195 billion in customs, and this would cost about $200 billion. So it's not even all there. We don't even have all the money there. And it's also sitting up there at the Supreme Court right now, may not even happen. So all of the things that people are talking about of quantitative easing, the end of quantitative tightening, it leads to quantitative easing. Easing means liquidity. And then the repo bills also being repo treasuries also being liquidity, and then the stimulus check being liquidity, they all work against each other. And what we would actually end up seeing is that the $2,000 stimulus check comes out as the quantitative tightening process to begin again. This isn't how it works. And so everyone that's talking about all this stuff all over X, Says market drops and the screen freezes. Oh, yeah, dude, they're out for me. They're out to get me, bro. There we go. We're good. We're good. I just had to double check it. So yeah, rugged, absolutely rugged. So I don't think that people realize that all of the things that they're saying are reasons for the markets to pump actually would cause the other point. Point one, it's going to pump. Point two, it's going to pump. Point three could actually cause point one to collapse, which would cause point two to collapse. And then we're at a worse condition than what we are right now. So shout out to Lloyd Roger Spencer, just became a member, joining the alumni. We appreciate you, Lloyd. Make sure you join our Discord and get access to the Piper plan for our DCA strategy, and also all of the trade setups over there that we have from JR and OC. And there's a whole education sector in there, and there's stock stuff in there. So welcome. We appreciate you being here. OC, your thoughts on this? I mean, because it seems like everyone wants to stack this 1, 2, 3 punch on why the markets are going to rally, but without the understanding, without the cognitive ability to process that this third punch, being the $2,000 stimulus checks, can actually start to collapse your first punch and second punch, and just really just make us in a worse situation for a market and risk on market than what we are right now. Your thoughts on this? Are these people just unhinged, or does Piper not know anything about macro?
No. I mean, there's many things affecting this thing around, right? The very first thing is that the traditional markets thrive on bad data, right? So first of all, I mean, you see bad numbers, they thrive, right? You see something going wrong, they thrive, right? And that is because, well, first of all, I know we're touching a little bit outside of the circle, but that is because of the Fed reaction to lower interest rates. Let's put that aside for a second, because I'm going to get back to it for a minute.
I'll put it back here in my bookshelf. There we go.
Oh, I love it. I still need to grab one of those, man.
There's a book of parabolas right here.
I'll be borrowing that later on. So the next thing is what you mentioned, right? What does it mention? What does it mean? And where does those funds need to come out and go to? How is that going to be revolvent into the economy, right? So first of all, I think you're right. This is going to be a 1, 2, 3 step. But also, I mean, depending on how politics manage this, because let's just remember, politics is dumb. All right, politics is dumb. Politics usually, hey, what is it good for voting? What is it good for popularity, right? Not is, hey, what is it good? Like, for example, getting a shot. Well, I don't like to get shots, right? But sometimes I just need to, because it's good for my health. Same thing we should be asking ourselves in here. Now, what's going to happen if we see, for example, this 1, 2, 3 step, and then we have a reaction of the upcoming rate cuts on the SEC, right? I think that might balance things out for a second. And let me bring the idea that we're living kind of like an inception, like a dual reality thing. Hey, like, how much can you buy with your $100 bill, right? Let me ask you a question. What you were able to buy last year with that same $100 bill, right? But then, I mean, I would say like way less. How your jobs are doing, way worse, right? Things are not doing great on the day-on-day economy, but how is the S&P looking? How is the Nasdaq looking? How is the VIX looking, right? I think everything is just making new all-time highs, I mean, on the monthly basis. So, I mean, do we follow narrative, or do we follow real section or real scenario inflation? I would say for now, as always, follow narrative. And that is because they're going to make everything that they can to hold that narrative. And, well, sadly, it's excluding us out of the game. So, long story short, depending on where you're going to be putting your money at, but I believe that this first thing, it's bad for the initial economy getting very close to the end of the year.
Yep, I agree. And I think a lot of people need to settle down. I think most of the people in the crypto space are detrimental to investors in the crypto space. Just my opinion. But OC, we're at the top of the hour. I know you wanted to do some more TA, but you got a class to go to at Chart Prime, so you guys are just going to have to tune in. Are you going live tonight, OC? Trade live with OC?
I'm going live tonight.
Okay, you guys tune in tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with OC Guy and check it out. He's going to be dropping all that TA that he was not able to get to today, so make sure you guys tune in there. And we will be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. BC Port Corp should be going live tomorrow morning, I would think. Good Morning Crypto right here on the Piper Academy Network. But we'll be back at 10 o'clock to bring you guys the news, the charts, the markets, the headlines, and everything you need to have knowledge brought to you with a little bit of intelligence, which other people lack in the space. Until next time, guys, trade safe. Use some risk management. Peace, love, profits. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others unless they give you dumb information. Don't be kind to those people. Later, guys.
That's the rap. Chart stack, data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built.
We're heading over to Crypto Coin Mindset, guys. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Drop those graduation caps. Let's go. Let's go.
The next one, stay sharp. Get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage.
We'll see you at the next
Don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?